that's kind of what I want to go into next.
Okay.
So
Okay.
this is a perfect segue
Let's go.
because a lot of people, like you said, would take this and wallow in it and be sad. And they'll say this one line that I always hear: nice guys finish last. And I'm going to tell you guys whether I agree or disagree with that statement.
Okay. Go ahead.
I completely disagree with that statement.
Mm.
Nice guys do not finish last. John, do you want to hear who finishes last?
Who?
People pleasers finish last. And they deserve to finish last.
Yes. Oh shit! This is why you want to talk about this before the podcast.
Yeah.
He was like, "No, you
Yeah.
got to wait till we get on there to hear it."
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
Woo!
People pleasers finish last.
I'm sorry that was loud, but I'm sorry that
Yeah.
oh shit.
Look, he's like, oh, I didn't tell him this
Yo,
before. This came to me
yo,
this morning. I was
yo.
just chilling and I was like, I'm tired of being like this. I'm tired of being this guy who people pleases. Because at the end of the day, it's like, how did I end up in this situation? I ended up in this situation because I'm a people pleaser. And when you're a people pleaser, you put yourself in positions to never win. Because you're always so focused on everybody else around you winning because you don't want to disappoint anybody, that of course you're going to finish last. If everyone around you is propelling off of your work and you're lifting everyone else up around you and no one's pulling you up at the same time, of course you're going to finish last. Of course. Like there's no other option for you.
Yeah.
That's right. That's how gravity works. Of course you're going to finish last. Like there's no other option. So basically what I said this to say is like, saying nice guys finish last is a cop-out and it is a victim mentality. It is a way of saying, I have nothing to work on. There's nothing else I need to do. I'm just going to finish last no matter what because I'm nice.
Because
what I found out through this situation, John, is that I can be a nice guy without being a people pleaser.
Yes, you can.
I can look out for myself without being a people pleaser. I can look out for myself and still be a nice guy. I can look you in the face and tell you, no, I'm not doing that, but still be a nice guy.
Yeah, absolutely. You can set boundaries for yourself and still be nice. It's not nice doesn't mean you have to do everything for everyone else and leave no room for yourself. That's why I agree with you to a point that it's not being nice that has you finishing last, quote unquote. It's allowing people to take advantage of you. And that's what people pleasing comes into because unfortunately, there's a ton of people that'll just take advantage of it. We kind of talked about it a little bit last week where you're the same way, where people enjoy talking to us because we're interactive. We're great listeners. We show interest in what they're saying. And so though you give them that space to talk, most people are going to fucking take it and talk about themselves. It's going to be me, I, just because whether they don't get it normally and they're not used to it, or it's just something they enjoy. I don't know. I can't tell the difference. I don't know if it's something they enjoy or if it's something that they needed because they don't have that space to talk about themselves. I have no idea which one it is. But 99 times out of 100, that's what the conversation is going to be. Them just taking that space to just talk about themselves and then not even show any sort of interest or remote connection to you as the listener. And so I allow people to do that I don't know. Like if I'm out at a store or like at a bar or something and people talk, cool, that's fine, whatever. I most likely will never see you again. But
Yep.
I stopped letting that permeate into my life with friendships and stuff. Or friendships because of that, because I would get exhausted emotionally just because I had friends or acquaintances that would do that. Call me, FaceTime me, want to go out just so they can dump all their shit.
Trauma dump. Oh.
And then they feel better. They feel better. But then now I'm taking all this shit on because I'm empathetic in it. And I'm like, damn, like you're going through all that and I'm relating and I'm feeling and I'm taking all this shit on. And then
I leave feeling like crap.
Yeah. So to have that in a relationship is shitty too. So, I mean, that's why you can, I think as a people pleaser, that's why you can feel depressed a lot, especially if you have empathy on top of it, because you're taking on all these other issues and all these other emotions and they're just piling on. And if you don't have an outlet yourself whether it be therapy or friends that you can go to, then all you're doing is just taking all this shit in and you have no outlet. That shit is devastating. That's dangerous. It's fucking dangerous.
I'm gonna give you your flowers, because in this last situation, talking through it with John, there was times where he looked at me. Well, not looked at me, but he responded to me. He said, "Dog, what are you getting out of this?" And like, it is okay. A lot of people look at that question and make it such a bad thing, and it's
Oh
like,
yeah.
no, like it is completely okay to say, "Yo, what am I getting out of this?"
What do you want out of this, and what are you getting out of this? What's your end goal in this whole thing? When all of this was going down and the conversation was changing, the energy was shifting, and you were saying, you were relaying to me some of the stuff, and I was like, okay, well, okay, you're gonna respond, but what do you want? Where do you want this to go? Is this done and you're just entertaining it because it was there, or like, do you see something that's going somewhere? Because I feel like that's an important thing to ask yourself. And then also, yeah, like when she reached out, when she after she said she wasn't going to, or after she told you not to, when she did reach
Oh
out,
boy.
did she ask about? I don't give a fuck. You gonna have to stop me, or you gonna have to cut it out.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Just keep going. Just keep going. Just keep going. Keep
When
going.
that happened, did she ask about you at all? Like, did she even check on you at all? Like, what the fuck? That's what, and it's because, and I appreciate you, giving me my flowers, but it's because I went through that recently. This is only like a few years ago where I realized that I was doing this shit. That's why I try to impart it, whatever I learned, to you, just because, like, yo, you'll be way ahead of where I was, and I want you to do way better than I, because, yo, go ahead.
No, you're good. Go ahead, guy. You know what? I'll just say this, because you're going in about this, and I want to make it clear, guys. Like, I'm perfectly okay with being a guinea pig in this situation. I feel like that's the dynamic of this podcast anyway. John's the happy, romantic, in love guy. I'm the hopeless romantic of the podcast. That is the
didn't think you,
vibe.
I didn't think you were gonna say that shit on
That is the
here.
vibe. That is the vibe. I'm cool with it. That's the dynamic. If that's the energy, I'm
Oh
cool with it,
man.
because
Oh man.
we need somebody to go off of. We need some stories, especially early on when we're not getting emails and submissions. Please
Oh
send them in, because I
man.
don't want to be this role forever.
Please send him
but
in. I don't
like,
want him to be that role either.
but like, while we need this, like, I'm cool with filling that role. And the other thing I will say too is, on the slight chance that Haley is seeing this, it's not an attack against her per se
No,
either.
it's not.
It's just this conversation and the things that John and I talked about really helped me better myself through the scenario. So if me telling my story and what I went through helps somebody else to
Mhm.
be able to navigate a similar situation, or not feel hopeless when something like this comes up, I'm more than happy to lend my failed situation to be
Yeah.
that example. You know what I mean?